Hello, everyone. Oh, it's always good to spend time with you. Thanks, Drew. Appreciate that. Got a lady working on her kitty cat. Cat's like 16, 17, 18, 19 years old. I think she claims the cat is deaf or something, and it's like, yeah, I definitely would work on whenever you see you're losing your hearing, you're really getting obstructed. The decay and stuff can happen, atrophy can happen, but you can get blocked up with mucus and lose your hearing. And so when you detox deep enough and you get your sinuses and head all cleaned out, your hearing comes right back. That's why I'm saying a lot of you that have lost your hearing, work on getting it back. And if there is a neurological breakdown because of anything, particularly of acidosis, then you could use the brain and nerve formula, and work in that way. But that's what I would work on. Cats are somewhat, for me, Look is a Himalayan kitty, 16 years old, about 90 years old in human life. That's a long time. And all I can say is they have the same lymph systems and everything else. Someday it'd be fun if we did some iridology on a lot of cats and dogs and see if we can come up with something. That'd be fun stuff, But I think you got them on plenty of stuff. Holy crap. Matter of fact, stomach and bowel 4, that's a kitty cat. So I don't know. I mean, I'd probably do it if they weren't moving well. If they were moving well, I'd do a 1. I wouldn't do anything but raw meat, and I'd stay off the heavier meat. I'd stay to the lighter side, fish and chicken. That's what I would be doing. A cat, herbs and raw meat, if there's to give some pre-digested amino acids or something, I don't know. It means more than that. Needs some nutrition other than that. I know that cats tend to go for the gut tissue of animals and stuff where there's pre-digested vegetables and stuff like that. So, I mean, they fight the same thing. They fight their health. But look, kitties live to be almost 20 or so. But I wonder, how long one could live. She's been losing hearing the last 2 months, and after vet and antibiotics is almost completely deaf. Yeah. These vets, I love vets. But they think they're doing right with antibiotics, and they just have the same idiotic thinking in physiology that the medical profession does. They're fractional thinkers. And when you're a fractional thinker, you miss so much because you're using your mind to guide yourself, motivate yourself around God's universes, and you can't do that because that has you have the inability then to know truth. The mind isn't about truth. The mind is totally about creation and creating and taking you down the road of creation, the soap operas. He is depressed and sick, just lays around. Yeah, that's definitely want to hit the endocrine glands. I would definitely want to hit the endocrine glands. When you get so old and you're on this planet, sometimes, these guys just don't want to take off. But I would, look at the endocrine gland for me because it sounds like to me, again, maybe there's some parathyroid issues going on. Who knows? When your lymph system goes down, it goes down all through you. But, Connie, I think you're doing a real good job. I think I would do upper circuit, brain, and nerve to go after that hearing problem. I think you have them on way too many herbs myself. But I've seen people do this, and their animals pull out of this. Someone was writing me in and said they had a chihuahua on fruit for 5 years, and then finally they died. He's had several of them die. It's like fruit, a dog on fruit for 5 years. Well, I mean, these are omnivores, guys, and omnivores, they're more designed to have an omnivorous diet. So you can do some raw chicken and of course, most dogs I don't think like fish at all. But you could give them some raw chicken or something like that and some veggies, pre-digested. We have a hard time digesting vegetables. And omnivore has even a harder time. And what's interesting to me is, and I saw this again the other night on one of the channels, but talking about grizzly bears and bears' diets are at least 60-65% grass. So what's interesting to me is that the bears are able to metabolize and break down grass, which is interesting. Because when you take a look at the design of an omnivore going all the way and compare it to a herbivore, there's major differences. But, you know, obvious that they handle that well, or to the extent that keeps them alive well. But when you look at that and you understand that omnivores are supposed to have some veggies, and some omnivores, you know, a lot of dogs like fruits, but to put a dog on exclusively fruits as an omnivore, that doesn't sound like, I don't know. I don't know what to say about it. I would never do that, put a dog all on fruit. I wanted to congratulate Elizabeth. It's not Elizabeth. Who is this from? I don't see who this is from. But anyway, we have a French bulldog in Denmark. Has no more glaucoma. The lady cleaned the glaucoma right out of her dog. And I've seen that all the time. I tell you, you can really take care of yourself and your animals well. Isn't that fun? I mean, everyone just has to lose their backbiting and gossiping and blaming and everything else, and let's just have fun with this. This is fun stuff. Whether you stay off fruit, whether you don't, whether you do, those choices are always up to the individual. You know, people wonder about us sometimes. Our level of busy, if you ever notice this in your life, some people are immature and they haven't had a lot of experiences to understand a lot of this stuff, but I'm telling you, whenever you look at responsibility and busyness, it changes a lot of your life ability to do things sometimes. And mates, I mean, there's just a long host of things that affect your ability to stay raw and to stay good, and where you live and your procurements and things. And someone made a comment about our staff. We don't hire all raw foodist guys. That's impossible. And second of all, where we are, you're lucky to find anyone in natural health. So you're right. We have people here that aren't all into health at all. And why would they be? This is a business. We couldn't do that. Unemployment the government would get us for that. You can't restrict some of these things too much. So yeah, we hire people. You know, we go to the state unemployment office sometimes because we try to go to the universities where there's classes and holistic stuff, but they never send us anybody hardly. Once in a while we'll get someone sent down here, but not always, you know. But what's fun is that when we hire people, they have no idea about this. They start changing. Most of our staff over there are changing their diets when they come in here. They start working. They start seeing other people. They start seeing the results. People calling in, telling them all their improvements. They catch the excitement, and that's good. So for you that are judging that, stop judging that. That's the first thing you start judging that. You look at your own life and what will happen to you. See, I learned a long time ago, don't judge, because it'll come to you right back in your face. Yeah, not good idea. You know, there's too many extenuating circumstances. Apply these principles on yourself and have fun with that. I don't expect you to be a raw foodist or a fruitarian all your life. If those of you that can, yeah, you'd be better than I had. Everybody, I love these sort of things. And here's Ed's Thoughts. Hey, Ed Thoughts. I have a friend suffering from Epidermolysis Bullosa, and I was wondering if you could print these so small. If you have any info or treatments she may be able to take that could help or rid her of this horrible disease. Time is definitely of the essence, and help or advice is greatly appreciated. Thank you. Okay, I'm not sure what that is, to be honest with you. You have to tell me what that is. I never heard of that. I'd have to look it up. But it's enough to say that anything medically diagnosed has a core issue, like this one does, of inflammation. And when you have a core of inflammation, what do you think is the system that's down and the causative factors? No matter what it is, if you can't read the word, understand the word that they diagnosed her with, doesn't matter. Location, location, location. But these all start, you can tell with this, it starts out with inflammation. And so you know that that's all acidosis. You know, acidosis is of the lymphatic system. You know your lymphatic system is your sewer system. You know your sewer system is tied to your kidneys and adrenal glands. That is your eliminative organs. You have lymph nodes or septic tanks in the body full of bacterium and macrophages. Your body's set up to protect itself and to clean itself. That's essential. Just like your car has an exhaust system, everything has to have the ability to not only procure an energetic source, but eliminate the byproducts from that, the burning or combustion of that. So whatever this is leading to, so something with the skin, I take it, or something, but it's enough to say that no matter what it is, you always want to get an inflammatory problem out of you. Most of the problems are all inflammatory problems because it's all about acidosis. When someone is not in acidosis, you don't feel anything. Matter of fact, you can be in acidosis and not feel anything either. If you look at the average person walking on the street with a high-protein diets and all the cokes and stuff, they're in extreme acidosis. They just haven't felt it yet. But it's funny how that is, because one day it just, bam! The pain and everything starts. They go to the medical doctors. They're diagnosed with an arthritis of some sort, and they said, well, how did this happen? And we talked about that the other day, how things just build and build and build, and then bam! No matter what you suffer with, any one of you, you start detoxing, and there's nothing you can't cure. And I'm not talking about diseases, because nobody cures something that doesn't exist. If you want to see truth for a minute, take the whole concept of diseases and pathology with bacterium and stuff and throw it over there to the side and let it stay and don't look at it for a while and start realizing everything is cause and effect. Only the mind likes to label. And that's what we have, a high academic mind that likes to label. Take away the labels, and what do you have? You have physics ruling chemistry. And physics says that every action, there's an opposite and equal reaction. Jesus Christ said it. He said, you reap what you sow. So, Buddha said it in karma. It's just a universal law. And if we don't abide by that universal law, then we pay the price. It's kind of like, different species have different type of food sources. Just because man migrated out of the islands as a tropical species, as a frugivore, and he's living in northern Russia, doesn't change the fact that he's an islander species and a frugivore. His environmental influences are so great that you, no question, change your diet. Very difficult, and I know we have clients in Alaska, we have clients in Siberia, we have clients everywhere, guys. And I understand the problems. I've worked with them for years like this. It's difficult. Sometimes you have to wrap yourself up and do things you wouldn't normally do living in a cold country like that. But you have to realize, as a human, as a Homo sapien, you're living outside of where you're designed to live and consume food from. And you would think, and we talked about this many times, the body would adapt to this, but it has not adapted to this, and the proof is, look at where man is on the scale of acidosis, because the diet that he's on, reflecting northern-style diets, elevated proteins, higher mineral foods, and stuff like this, not doing him well. Take a look around. Everybody's hurting and sick. Excuse me. So, I'll tell you what, Eds, you want to get her going with the kidneys and adrenals. I don't care what it is, where it is. You address all these problems the same, because all these problems sprung out of lifestyle. And you must realize that in some thinking, people think this is a closed house inside the body. But I beg to differ, because we are sponges. And so is about every other life out there. We walk as sponges, so we absorb. Remember we told you about the lady that absorbed 5 to 10 pounds when she took a shower? But we absorb chemistry. We put chemistry on our skin, we drink, we breathe chemistry, we eat chemistry. And so life is a product of chemistry. So just take a look at your life and say, you know, all the way I look, the way I feel, all of this is a product of chemistry. Now, on a higher level, we can say it's a product of energy, because energy creates chemistry. Energy creates everything. Hard to understand that, especially when you can't see or you can touch energy. You can feel energy. But if there's something more you need to let me know about her case, but you really want to get her moving on kidneys, adrenals, clean up the bowels. I mean, you're going into the body, cleaning up the core, so everything else comes clean. But you have to clean up the core. You have to clean up the eliminative organs. You know, of priorities in your life and going after your health issues is going to be kidneys and adrenals and lymphatics, number 1. Number 2, GI tract. Number 3, and a close second, is endocrine glands. Outside of that, you're into the nervous system, which controls literally everything. These are your top areas of focus, always. Blood flow, if your cholesterol levels have been up for a number of years, get on circulation formulas. Even though your lymph plaquing is in the lymph system, you still want to keep yourself from stroking or having heart attacks. And if you get used to reading your eyes, take a look in the mirror and see if you have what they call an arcus senilis, or what is referred to as a cholesterol ring. And that's just what it creates. Senility, because you start to lose the flow of energy. Anytime you obstruct the flow of energy, dis-ease is the side effect. So your question is, what obstructs the flow, the current of energy? And you can get in the blood. What obstructs the flow of energy in the blood? What obstructs the flow of energy in the lymph system? What obstructs the flow of energy in the nervous system? Because energy is your core factor. So how many of you are chronically fatigued? And they blame it on Epstein-Barr and stuff like that. Epstein-Barr should be out of your body in a few days. Elizabeth, just some feedback from the team. There are tons of videos with Dr. Morse. It would be great if you could do more testimonials from patients. You know what? I've thought about this, and for those that are willing to come on camera, we don't mind. We like to do that. I've said that before, that we need to start doing that. I really wanted to introduce you to this lady with the advanced ALS. You would have been amazed at that one. That's pretty good. You know, and you guys are doing the same stuff. Good stuff out there. So I agree. He just did the video with Hildy, not sure on the spelling. Yeah, but that's okay. And new patients going through the program. I'd love to do this. So, Lori, we're going to work more on this. I agree with you 200%. Like I said, I've done radio for so many years, and I just finally got to the point of just sticking our clients on there because you run out of things to say. This is so simple. And you want to keep... I'm amazed. I've done so many videos. I mean, I'm doing them after your questions, but really, you notice that we cover the same type of territory, so it gets a little boring that way. And I really like that. We've been talking about shaking these up, and really would like to put some clients on here and talk about it, because it's so fun to hear people going through this and what they've achieved. Fun stuff. And you guys are welcome to do a little video. We'll slide it right into with our video. You'll do one at home on yourself, and we'll slide it in on our video here and get it to the public and let them know what you've done on yourself. And I don't know what all, this is something, I don't know what this is. Let's see what this is. Hey, Dr. Morse, I hope this message finds you in your unusual high-spirited mood. Maybe. I have a question relating to a severe head injury sustained by my best friend in June last year. If you could be kind enough to answer a few questions, absolutely would be happy to. He is a 31-year-old male who had a fall from a height of roughly 20 feet. Poor kid. He sustained the impact on his left temple and was substantially, I bet, introduced into a coma to prevent further swelling, I bet. It's kind of like that guy that, of course, now they're blaming herbal Viagra for his coma. Of course, they did find the cocaine and everything else in his body. Cardassians, soon-to-be ex, poor guy, you know, but they're trying to blame it on the herbal Viagra. Did you catch that one? Yeah, inside it is some bad stuff. He remained in the coma for 5 weeks, had a tracheotomy performed on him, standard stuff, remained for several months. For 14 months after the accident, he is making a great effort in his recovery, but he's still in the hospital in the UK. Wow! Holy crap! 14 months still in the hospital. Okay. Well, here's the thing. And I'm getting this on. I'm going to pass some of this because she's already got this. They got this yellowed out for me. Currently, he cannot eat solid or liquid food. Holy crap! He has to be somewhere in between and have a custard-like consistency in order for him to be able to swallow properly without the risk of it going down the wrong hole. Well, here's the thing. Feeding tube. I'll tell you what, not an NG tube, a gastric tube. That's where I'd go. I'd go in a gastric tube and get him going, especially if you worry about this, because you want to get to this young man and pull him out of this. So you do what you can, because you got to do liquids. I mean, you got to be able to get it down him and the herbs and everything else. And if he's trached and there's a problem here, then I would suggest having a gastric tube put in. Then it don't matter. You can infuse anything you want, and that might be better in a situation like this. Hopefully the situation will change very soon. The hospital have insisted upon a 200 calorie a day liquid food supplement, liquid C. His family have opted for a vegan version, which is thankfully dairy free. Yeah, if you start giving this young man dairy in the hospital, which is common, or Pedisure or Ensure, something like that, they just start getting mucus. Then they get the pneumonias in the hospitals. They do this all the time to them, make them milkshake craps and stuff like this. And you don't want to do that, because then you'll start seeing him go downhill. That just fills the body full of acidosis and inflammation. Big thing here, get him on as much fruits as possible. I know you're going to have to fight this, but I would fight this. Unfortunately, it contains soy. Yeah, that's not any better. Well, it is better, but not much better. However, we reasoned it was the lesser of the evil. See if you can get it to rice, but why have any milk at all? This guy needs to have fruits and veggies, at least fruits and veggies. They should opt for a big salad and a bowl of fruit, even though they don't mix real well, but it's still better than a hospital meal. I tell you, the big thing here is no proteins and no dairy products. Those are the big ones right there. And soy is a protein. So I don't know. I mean, you try to get in there with them and try to change that. But I think you can show them improvement as the time goes on here. If you can get them to do the diet, you get a gastric tube put in, you get him on the juices, you get him on the herbs, I think you're going to they can watch his recovery pretty neatly there. Before his accident, he was really getting into your cool vids and has complete respect for, oh my God. I know this will only inspire him to see a video of you addressing his injury. Also, his family would benefit a great deal in hearing the advice straight from the horse's mouth. Well, I tell you, we're good at rebuilding the nervous system, as we've demonstrated with these advanced cases of ALS and stuff, where you're dealing in frozen and you can unfreeze them. It is cool to see the body regenerate. Remember this, base chemistry is regenerative. Acid chemistry is destructive. One is an anionic, one is a cationic. It's that simple. Acids break down, bases build up, and this is basically speaking. So you really want to be on a high-based electrical diet. I mean, this is also the brain, so you want electrical, raw, electric, and get him on a raw diet. If you can get him all on fruits, berries, and melons, you're going to see some changes, especially upper circuit brain and nerve. Those are the two. I'd have him on upper circuit brain and nerve 1 and 2. At the same time, what are you doing? He's had trauma, even though it's been 14 months. What system has to clean the trauma? The lymphatic system. And this is the glymphatic system that's supposed to be helping him out. Spinal fluid and all that. So you would definitely go into the kidneys. Where else? The adrenals, and a couple of reasons. Not only to increase neurotransmissions, and that would be neurotransmitters, correct? But also, what about steroids as anti-inflammatories? Absolutely, because in a sedentary position, this young man is constantly creating acids at the cellular level. And they're not understanding this side of it either. So as the young man is laying there, even when he was in a semi-coma, his body is still producing waste. So this is another reason why the fruit, because they're astringent, they're self-cleansing. So the neat thing about it is you can be sedentary, sick in the bed, and the fruits do the work for you. That's the beauty of the fruits. You can't say that about any of the other foods. So that's a neat thing about having a fruit, and I know it wasn't by accident, but all the quads, the pears, all the MSs, the Lou Gehrig's, the Parkinson's, these are fruits, berries, and melon diets only, these levels, if you want to get good results, my opinion. And it'll be the same with trauma. The same with trauma. There's plenty of amino acids, there's plenty of all this. It's already a grown man. So really need the power of the fruit, the flavonoids. I mean, you need all that nutrition for this particular case here. And the hospital needs to get with it. Because that's your young man there, somebody's young man. And the parents need to go in and say, Doc, we love you, and thanks for keeping my son alive, but we got to change his diet. Yeah, sounds like a cool young man. Dad, you know, all this karma stuff, but you know what? Let's get him straightened around and patch all that up for him, and then he'll have his life back, and he's gotten rid of some bad karma. Then he can go on to growing spiritually and everything else in a far better, quicker way. But his diet right now is everything. Everything. Your diet is everything. That's just why most people are where they're at, is their diets. You know? So it takes a great deal of courage to challenge anything. The allopathic doctors are saying absolutely. But remember, they're just about keeping him alive. You're about regeneration. And I don't mind you telling them, we know a doc that knows regeneration of tissue. And this is what we want to do is regenerate tissue. And this is neurological tissue. This isn't like liver or muscle. Those you can rebuild those on vegetables. Not nervous systems. My questions are, have you dealt with similar cases to this? Absolutely. We've had a lot of brain traumas. Did you have success in these cases? Absolutely. What would be the ideal protocol to aid maximum recovery and regeneration? That's what I'm saying. 100% fruits and berries, and melons if you want. But I would be on full bore herbs. I'd be really going after him. I'd be on at least 2 kidney formulas, 1 lymphatic formula, but 2 kidney formulas, an adrenal formula. If his blood pressure gets too low, add licorice to the adrenal formula. Licorice root's an anti-inflammatory anyway, it controls blood sugar, and it's great to enhancing adrenal neurotransmitter production. So it's a good herb for that. But upper circum, brain, and nerve are real key to this, because those herbs are highly regenerative to the nervous system, and central and autonomic. So really, where I'd be, definitely on that. Of course, you want to clean the bowels out and everything else, because this has a lot underneath it, and you want to start cleaning underneath it. Another thing is you might check this young man's eyes and see what all this young man's problems are, because you want to take care of all this on this journey. Would you buy the use of anti-inflammatories such as fish oils, turmeric, and cannabis oils? I certainly would. Definitely a good take on that. You know, if you get too many oils, of course, you got to be careful with ketosis. So it isn't oil. Balance. Remember balance, but an increase of oils. Would there be any danger to him losing weight on a detoxification program? Hell no. Not at all. I mean, look at all these people that are malabsorbed. They can get down. We've got a poor girl down to 58 pounds. Not our doing, but she's real bad. Real bad. Full body tattooed and everything else. This is a bad case. Can't even describe how bad this is. Can't even begin to go there. Twists my heart every time. You know, people, full body tattoo, I'd suggest you rethink that. One talk with this girl and you'll run for the door. Would there be any danger in him losing weight? Absolutely not, because you're pounding nutrition in him. You're pounding electricity, nutrition, every way. Remember, the herbs are nutritious. The herbs are life-supporting. So he might get down if he's malabsorbed. If they're trying to keep his weight on, they're going to acidify him, and there's no getting better. That's the problem. If you acidify the patient, they're going to go downhill, even if you're trying to support them. Oh, we tried. It's like, no. You can only regenerate under the base sky. You can't regenerate under the acid sky. And he's there sedentary, and there's who's helping him move his lymphs. And if they give him a diet that's highly acidic, there's no way this young man is able to get his acids out of his body. He's sedentary. Would it help to get a picture of his eyes? Be nice to see. Thank you so much. Oh, anytime. Let's big high fives. I'm gonna tell you. Same here. Listen, let's get this young man straightened around and get him back up. Medical doctors need to see this anyway, and how you regenerate tissue. They need to see cases like this, and he's in a perfect place for them to watch. But the problem is their arrogance and ego doesn't allow them to understand that other people have better ideas and a better way about things. So if you can convince them, I would. This young man needs to have a chance to regenerate the brain and get all this out of him. So I'll be glad to help you in any way possible, of course. This is sad stuff. I just have two specific questions on my mind. It's a lot of misleading information out there. Boy, isn't there? And this is the problem. We live in the mental worlds. This is a mind game. You're playing a mind game at every level of it. But you're just God expressing itself. Keep in mind, the only way that the infinite can express itself is through its created individualities, through its creation. And you are very much a part of its creation. So don't sell yourself short. Don't let a religious being take that away from you. You're as holy and as divine as any and everything else is. Don't forget that. Feed on that. Each and every one of you are beautiful beings. You're playing a mind game here, and your mind and emotions are wrecking you. You got to pull back from that a little bit. With official studies, yeah, I know. I talked to an oncologist, and he said, we have our studies too. And I said, yeah, we have ours too. And the problem is, it isn't just about studies, is it? It's about actualities. You know, when the Cancer Treatment Centers of America put their statistics on their website, they're either proud of them or whatever. So take a look at their statistics. They're oncology. And then the Berinsky movie, that was all done. That was oncology versus Berinsky. So, you know, I hear this shit that medical doctors say all the time. Oh, this guy told me he had a 65% cure rate. I said, prove it to me. This is the time you're going to have to prove it, because we don't see anything even close to that. Breast cancer nowadays are up. They probably have about a 15% rate with that. I can't remember how much with that. Esophageal cancer is 0. There's no survival rate of that one. So, I mean, there is so much misinformation. Then the protein myths. You know, these are all myths. It's the same reason you go back about marijuana and the rope industry and all this, why they made marijuana illegal, because it made better rope. I mean, you go back and understand the history of these things, you get vomitous that we allow the mind of the few control the many. And that's what we do. I hope people wake up on this planet a little more, because it's those that are outside of the mind that have more of the love going. You ever notice those that are highly intellectual? The heart is closed. Got to be careful with that. Simplicity is always your fun game, because you're not wrapped up in it, and you get to have more fun. You want to wrap yourself deep in creation? Go at it. Might take you a while to get yourself back out, though. That's the problem. It's easier to get here than it is to get out. My concern lies that I have seen people first get well with a vegetarian, vegan diet, but then get worse after a while. Would you know why that is? Yeah, you know what? You change your diet from an omnivorous, meat-eating, dairy-eating diet, and you go on kind of a vegan diet, you're going to definitely feel better for a while. You're definitely going to do that. But there's just a saturation point, or it's not even a saturation point, there's just a point that you don't get any better. That's been my point all along here. And when you look at that and study that, it's both involved in chemistry and physics. The fruit. Now, this is where I'm going to agree with the Bryans and everyone else. Of course I do. We have bad fruit. But almost everything's hybrid. If you're going to say we have better vegetables, they're all hybrids. So you can't get into those sort of things. And if you try to just hold out for the very best of the best, then you don't eat anything but junk. So it's real. We get it. We get it. I haven't spent 40-some years of my life not getting it. So I don't know what to say about that. But it is a fact. I've seen that too, honey. And we get a lot of raw foodists with cancer in here. How can that be? That's my point. You have to understand that unless you fix and clean out what you created, maybe unconsciously, unless you fix these things, just changing your diet is not enough. That's why I love botanicals. You know, I used to think that was all it needed, especially back in the early 70s. You know, Brian was saying he was on 6 months of oranges. 6 months of fruit. I was 3 years on fruit and years on raw. You get away from it, you know, with different people you're with and stuff like that, but I spent a lot of time with that. I had no teeth problems. I had no problems whatsoever back then. Matter of fact, it was just so good. But the quality of my fruit was unbelievable. I was at a nursery where he was a famous grafter, and he got poisoned by spraying citrus groves when he was younger and realized he needed to turn to organic. And his organic oranges, his navel oranges are this big. I could see them this big at times. And not dry, full. And nirvanic. There was no acid. It was like sweet as honey. He said, this is an acid fruit? Sweet as honey. That's a proper food. We are sweet eaters. We are frugivores. We love these tastes and flavors of the fruits and the berries and the melons. That's where all the flavors are. There's some flavors in vegetables, but generally we're into the fruit of that, or we're into the cucumbers and peppers and things like that have some flavors. Grasses and stuff, I don't know. So I see the same thing you do. To tell you the truth, this is Alex. I see the same thing you do, Alex. And that's because you can't just change your diet and say, okay, oh look, I'm not getting any better. The diet doesn't work. You got to fix things, guys. And all your dietary consumptions, all your chemistry habits sit on what? Sits on your genetics. And you got to go in and fix these genetics. Because you look at these young people that are writing us in their 15s and their teens and 20s. These guys have to fix their genetics because they're at the point where you got to fix them. And if you can fix genetic memories, you can fix this lad that had trauma in the head. We've had several cases of trauma in the head and got him out of that. Matter of fact, I had a case of triple strokes once. Triple strokes. Got him back. So it's just enough to say that there's regeneration, and you have to put your understanding in that. Just because the allopath doesn't do it, you know, man has to start letting go of that thinking. It's strangled him and choked him and led him down wrong roads. And until that wakes up, you're going down a very dark road of autoimmune problems and things that no one understands, not even them. You never treat something you don't understand. A lot of people are dying because of that. I was reading Best Pill, Worst Pill. I'll bring that one in and read it to you because the FDA's been allowing this drug on the market that's been killing people. And it's a fairly new drug for blood sugars. And it's a bad med. And even the worst pill's got a big "don't use" on it. And the FDA says, oh, no problem. Just because we have a few deaths. Can we point out that animal food could be a causative factor for disease? I think that you could definitely, Alex, point to that. Now, let's don't use the word disease. Let's use the word toxemia and acidosis. You know, when you're eating dead tissue, and did you ever smell blood that's putrefying? That's what not me, that's certainly what a lot of people like to eat. If I'm going to eat a piece of meat, you better put a Barbie on that and everything else, and I don't even want to know that it has tissue under there. I mean, we're eating tissue, dead tissue, and stagnant blood. So, I mean, people like that. I mean, people like aged beef, and that's at least 6 months hanging. So we like stuff like that. At least man thought he does, and that's a huge problem. You know, when you're adding disease and death in you, and you want to have life and vibrancy, and you want to feel clean, and you don't want to stink, why do you eat dead tissue? That is an oxymoron. And, of course, you have putrefaction with this, not fermentation. That's a fungal problem. So now you called in your proteolytics. These are your bad boys. These are your big boy bacteriums. Because now we just have fungus for carbon or carbohydrates. We're talking about protein here, so now you got to get your proteolytics. Those are your bad boys. And we all bitch about those guys. But if you're going to eat dead tissue and stuff like that, don't bitch when the gnarly bacteria have to come in and start eating this stuff up. Then we blame them for the problem again. The E. coli's and all this kind of stuff. The H. pylori's and all of this. Can we point? Yeah, we can point that out. I'm with you, Alex. One other thing also is that apes also eat fleas and other animal foods. Some of them do, absolutely. They do. But I consider the human a highly evolved person. I never picked a flea off of a friend or whatever and ate it. I don't think the human is geared to that level of thinking. I think it's important that man give himself a due respect, that not to be negative and everything else. Everything's just God expressing itself. So from one viewpoint, there's no difference. But from a development viewpoint, both from an anatomical and physiological viewpoint, and also from a state of consciousness, not consciousness, from a state of consciousness viewpoint, the Homo sapien is obviously more evolved in that way. Why would we have to compare ourselves with even the primates, which I love dearly, but we're just more refined species. I mean, God refines itself and refines itself. But I also know that it's all about location, location, location with the primates too. The primates have the same problem we do, and that's location for food. All animals have a problem. A lot of them for food sources, but primates are the same way, because some of them now are being pushed up into the mountains because we're burning the lowlands for farmland. Now we got so much tourist trades in some of these tropical areas, they're not doing that so much. Thank you. They're realizing that we can make money for visitors to go look at the big great apes. We don't have to burn our farmland, our trees and stuff down to create farmlands. I forget what it was. They were burning rainforest down at how many acres a day? Staggering, upsetting, sickening. That's why we all are very important to this move. We need to raise the consciousness of humans. How do you do that? Change what they're eating. Study after study has shown that meat eating creates more violent and anger tendencies, harder on the liver, wrecks the GI tract. Study after study. Matter of fact, I told you a couple of years ago, a 30-year study linked protein diets to colon cancers. So I'm right with you, Alex. Going with you all the way there, man. You can't put putrefactive stuff in the body and claim it's healthy. Oh my God. I mean, if you want to be a paleo, then you go out and you kill your meat and you eat it right there. Then you can call yourself a paleo. If you're cooking it up on the barbie calling yourself a paleo, nah. Because you've just totally wrecked the energy. Look at David Wolf. He's got a book out on beauty. And he's got a picture of a piece of raw meat in Karelian photography and the same meat cooked. Interesting. Matter of fact, that's the next thing I want to do is get a Kirlian photography setup here. I want to show you the difference of people's energies as they go on the detox, and also the herbs. Wouldn't that be cool? And we want to show all that. Good, fun stuff. This is what the level we want to get into now, because we've more than proved what you could do to yourself. I've proved this for 40 years. We have a record a mile long. You cannot not prove it. We're out there everywhere because we've helped so many people, and proof's in the pudding. So now we want to have some fun and really help the medical doctors link their understanding with what they know and what they've taught to truth. That's our goal. And we're going to do this through biochemistry a little bit better, but there's a point in biochemistry you can't go anywhere with it. And you'll see when we get into class here, you guys that are coming, I'll show you where you can't get here from there. But you can understand a little bit of why edema and why things are happening, and the waxing and waning of ionization and oxidation and that sort of thing. You can understand a little more of that. But when you're sitting in front of your client or your friend that you're helping, they could give a heck less about how many electrons move across to another atom, and how it changes the charge from a negative to a positive, and how it changes the reaction of an element, blah, 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 and, getting into all this stuff. They don't care. They want to be well. Simplicity is always the key. You can intellect yourself to death. That's what the allopathy have done. They've intellectual themselves up a tree. They don't even get down from it. You can't do that. You can't do it. You don't have to hurt anybody to get them well. But there are some people you can't help, guys. There's some people that don't want help. You can't help them, and subconsciously. And there's some people that it's their time to pass. No, we help a lot of people that would have passed that wanted to stay a little longer. Hey, thanks. Could you send this question to him? What formulas do you need to get rid of toxins? Would the Lymph formulas be enough because of the chaparral in them, or do you need other formulas? Please return to Shannon. Well, remember, where is your controller of the lymph system? I mean, we could call it the controller, I think. I think that the controller, the head, we can call the kidney and adrenals, because that's your eliminating organ. But you have to add the third kidney in there. That's the skin. If we're going to add the skin in there, we could pick up the thyroid a little bit. Because if you don't have enough power to sweat, you're going to back up subcutaneously. So when you see a client coming into you, or you see a friend, and you get a picture of their eyes, and you see a big skin ring, and you'll always see a heavy lymphatic system. When you see the kidneys down and the skin down, oh my God. We got an iridology section here coming up. I found some more of them. We'll have some fun looking at them, but the lymph systems are a mess. I did this protocol for this young man here. I think he's in his 30s. I just did it a couple of days ago, and oh my God, his lymph system is so thick. I didn't know what to say. I just kept going, lymph, exclamation points. You just got a lot of work. And he's got a big skin ring. When you're down and you're not eliminating your waste, where are they going? And these are acids. They're not going anywhere. They're accumulating. They're becoming agglomerated. So what's happening is you're seeing inflammation no matter what name they get it. It's all about location, location, location. And I'm not a medical doctor. I didn't study all the names of diseases and things, and my God, it's insanity. Hell, imagine I can see a medical doctor spending all night long trying to pronounce one word, kind of get it down. It's just I don't believe in that. I'm a down to earth farm boy. I'm about common language and helping each other with common language and understanding that, not judging each other, things like that. That'll get you a kickback from the Creator. Yeah, you don't want to judge anybody. Doesn't matter. Let them do whatever they want to do. Doesn't matter. As soon as you judge, you get kicked right in your face about it. I don't judge him. I don't care. Give freedom to everybody, and you'll have it for yourself. As soon as you judge another, you're trapped. You're caught in it. You got to realize that. Our judgmental attitudes, our gossiping and all this just locks us deeper into that. Got to learn, doesn't matter. That soul's on its own journey. You can't judge that. And we all are not on the same journey. No two souls are on the same journey at all. You come as an individual. You're by yourself at one level. And at another level, we're all together. Cool stuff, isn't it? It's wild. But you want to always work on your kidneys, skin, and adrenal glands and your lymph system. And that is your lymph system. When you say lymph system, that's the whole system. You got your interstitial fluid, your lymph fluid, which is the interstitial fluid really, your lymph vessels, your lymph nodes, then you got your kidneys, your skin. Yeah, you can, like I say, you can pick up that thyroid a little bit, and of course you have your adrenal glands. All this deals with sodium potassium. That's a big deal for cell waste. Also, that's your sodium potassium pump. That's how you have osmosis or diffusion. Those sort of things. We're going to talk about those at the class a little bit so you understand why there's edema biochemically. But I would hit it in that way. I'd also clean up the gut, the GI tract. Take a look at how we have these protocols. That's how I feel we should go after a body. I don't have them there to look pretty. I have them there to go in and help people. So if you look at how I have these protocols laid out, I'm going after everything that relates to a system. So you can't just go after the lymph system without addressing kidneys and adrenal glands, especially if you have tumors, because the tumors will grow. You're trying to move lymph when lymph is stagnant because of kidney and adrenals. They're stagnant down here, not up here. They're stagnant in the kidney and adrenal connection. So working on those. That's how you move lymph. That's how you move. You know, it's interesting you said, I was just talking to Marcy about it. We were laughing about this. When we say toxemia or toxicity, what are we talking about? What's toxic in your body? Let's say outside of your ingestion of chemicals, like makeup chemicals, and these are your petrochemicals. Most makeups are made with coal tar products anyway. Your aspirin, a lot of your pharmaceuticals are made out of coal tar products. Look at Bayer aspirin. Bayer aspirin, you can take a couple of Bayer aspirin, put it in a spoon and hold the spoon over a flame, and as that breaks down, it'll turn black on you. Yeah. So some things aren't as they appear, are they? I know it. But it's enough to say that you just want to break yourself away from the illusion. For those that are ready, break yourself away from the illusion. Get your bodies healthy and enjoy the rest of your time on this planet. And help others to do the same, you know. This is Mara. You are amazing, AMAZEBALLS. I love how passionate you are with health. Oh, thanks. Well, because I always feel good. It's rare. I get 2 to 3 hours sleep a night. If I get 4, I've died and went to heaven. I'm always working out cutting limbs and doing labor like that, and planting trees and stuff like that. So, but I always feel good. Always feel good. My diet isn't 100% raw, but it's real close. But I always feel good. You know? But when you go on raw, you can't help but feel good. But the other part of feeling good is to feel free. It's amazing how you can start losing your freedom, and you accept that. And pretty soon, it's like the lady when kind of Russia fell and you know the communism, sort of speak, fell. That's bullcrap. But you know, read what a democracy is in law. You know, you see all these Democrats and all these people saying, we have a democracy in America. We have a democracy in America. And these are some of your elected politicians. Have they ever went to a law dictionary and read what democracy really means? I told that to you guys before. Democracy means socialism/communism. Really close to the same thing. And both of those you lose your freedom. But this elderly lady was asked, you know, when the Stalin, all this thing went down, and this lady was asked, how does it feel now to feel free? She said, well, you know, we never knew we weren't free. We never knew we weren't free. And that's the sneakiness of the mind and of the negative forces. Slowly sucks. It makes you get your thinking. Then you're always thinking, they got you right there. because you're always thinking. You never know yourself. You're never free to look around and because you're lost in thoughts. I want this, I want that, I want to buy this, I'm poor, I don't have this, or I want this, or I'm rich and I have all this. It's all a trap. Poverty and wealth. It's all a trap. You know, I went for years with poverty consciousness. Of course, trying to make a living, we were poverty. But, you know, the Jesus thing. And then you have the opposite where you have your spiritual, or I don't want to use the word spiritual, but then you have your other positive thinkers that, you know, you want to think, yeah, I'm wealthy and I'm positive because thinking brings things to you. You don't want to pull either one to you because you're pulling creation to you. That means you're stuck because whether you have bucks or you have no bucks, you're stuck. And you don't want to care either way because you're free when you don't care. As soon as you care, they got you. I care. I care. My emotion. So I'm passionate about that too. I appreciate all that you do for us. So thank you, my friend. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Mark. My 7-year-old son had a break. Oh, crap. I hate stuff like this. But this is what's coming. This is why you see me so passionate, guys, and why I'm trying to keep this in a straight and narrow way. Because we need to come up and bring this out. Look at this. 7-year-old brain tumor. You're going to see more and more of this, guys. The mama's lymph system becomes the baby's lymph system. And, of course, with all this, the kidneys and adrenals going down, these poor kids. And with these baby formulas and the crap that's out on the market, they don't get it. They don't get it that this is all being created by the allopathic thinking and by our American Dietetics Association and how people think about their health and all this misinformation and all the lies. All these special interest groups that perpetrating these lies. Look what it's done to us. All for money. Paper. Monopoly. Jesus. But, listen to this. This was removed from the cerebellum. Whoa, whoa, whoa. In the hospital, they have been giving him steroids and narcotics for pain and muscle cramps, antibiotics, etc. Once he is home, what can I do to detox this stuff out? I want to strengthen him and help him become healthy. That's a good mom. It's a good mom. That's a typical good mom. Well, first thing, you have to address why he had the tumor, right? I mean, you've got to fix why he had the tumor because they did nothing but take it out, right? So that means he can grow another one right back because all they did was take out the tumor. Hopefully, they didn't take out any lymph nodes because you don't want to do that in the head or anywhere around the head. You never, or you want to grab that surgeon and teach him a little lesson of what you don't remove lymph nodes. I can't overemphasize this. These freaks, they're taking all these lymph nodes because they're swollen out of these people. Oh my God. Because once you remove a lymph node and you have a tumor on the other side, I can't help you. Nobody can help you. You have to have a pathway. We're not miracle workers. We just know how the body works and how you can fix all that. And we're not miracle workers. I mean, it looks like that sometimes, but this is just life and chemistry and physics, as far as I see it to be. But you want to fix this young man up. So first of all, we know his kidneys and adrenals are down, and that's where you want to go. So I'd have this. He's 7 years old, so I'd have him on a kidney number 1. I'd have him on an endocrine gland formula. I'd probably also put him on an adrenal formula because we're talking about drops instead of dropperfuls. This is a case where you want to have him on lymphatic, and I would do a liquid on this kid. I would do lymphatic 1. If you want, we have these... They're not supposed to be out yet, but we do have these new glycerins, and they are, I want you to try them. Just go to the health food store and buy yourself a glycerin child's formula, or any glycerin formula, and then buy one of ours and try it. I'm so excited about them because glycerin generally meant, not anymore. You try these, but perfect for kids. So you could go to that, but alcohol does move quicker. you still have to have some metabolism with the glycerins. But they are really good to take and easy to take, better than the alcohol ones. So either one. But you want to work on the young man's GI tract when he gets home. So a stomach and bowel number 1 maybe, if he's moving his bowels once a day or something. I definitely would go with a lymphatic 1, a kidney 1, an endocrine gland. You might also, if we know this is all out of here, we would want to do upper circulation and brain and nerve. Now you're going to get up, you're going to repair any damage that was there, you're going to get blood moving up in the head more aggressively into these areas that have been cut on. You're going to really start inspiring. Of course, with the 7 years old, fruits, berries, and melons only. 7 years old, this young man can take this. This young man will help his brain power anyway. This will detox him and everything else. They have to give him a little vegetables. I don't care. You know, you can play with kids in a lot of ways, and they don't have to be totally perfect. You could get fresh made, little fresh made, I always say, like pine, like magnolia nuts. Just make a little paste of that and put that maybe on a celery or maybe even on a cucumber. You can play with that. There's all kinds of things you can play with. You got to be careful here not to hit the protein right off. When this is all cleaned up and everything, then you can snack him up with, say, fresh almond butter on celery or something like that. But you never want to lose the focus of fruits, berries, and melons. Those are the top ones to deal with this problem. But it's also the top one to get this young man smarter than all the other kids his age around him. You start getting him all opened up here, woohoo! You're going to be amazed at where your young man's going to go. But that's what you got to do to get there, take care of this young man. Fruits, berries, and melons, get on that lymph system like you would an adult, but you're going to use more liquids. 1 lymphatic instead of 2, maybe even 1 kidney instead of 2. Talking about drops, depends on his weight, and go that way. But let's get this tumor out of this young man. This is Diana. I just watched your videos and wondered if you could tell me if taking this mushroom tincture, the Chaga Mushroom tincture, is good or not. I have been doing far infrared sauna for 3 months and have been eating organic only and vegetarian, vegan diet. But I remembered when I went vegetarian in 1990 with tons of fresh fruit, how amazing I felt. I know. I tell you, except for those that have serious inflammation and work to do. You feel so good. On the ripe, fresh fruit. You feel so good. You feel light. You feel up here like you should. Maybe not so good for love making, but I had tons of energy and I wasn't concerned with weight gain. I wasn't totally fruit then, but sure did a lot of it. And of course, I was younger then. Also, what are the best fruits? You want to go back to that. That's the thing that keeps pulling me back too. Is memories of sometimes how you feel. But sometimes I just get, it's just like I bought a watermelon yesterday. My last hope. I stood over the fence this morning. It was so hard inside. They just don't know how to grow good melons anymore. I tell you, our farmers are getting bad out there. We need to shake some neck. I donate to farmers and stuff like this, but I'm going to tell you something. We got to wake up some farm boys and get some better farming out there because we need some good food. We need some, I don't know, we got to turn this, our world onto fruits and berries and get these greenhouses and start producing some. Can you imagine? Raising your children all on fruit. You're on fruits and berries and melons, okay. Maybe a salad once in a while, who cares? But you're getting the highest quality fruit. I can't imagine where man would be. Man isn't ready for these levels. Man on this planet isn't ready for frugivore lifestyles. He can get there, and that'll make this planet a whole nother level because planets are allowed to grow. How'd you like my galaxy picture? Amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. And this is the smallest world, smallest realm of God. I'm with you. I would go back, pick up my, I don't think the mushroom will hurt you, although I don't know how mushrooms are when you have high fungal problems, because mushrooms are fungus. So I don't know how mushrooms do when you have a lot of fungal involvement, taking more fungal chemistry. Just don't know how that works. We'll try to watch that, but I'm not a real recommender of mushrooms, to be honest with you. I've got a formula with even the baby's mushrooms, which are much more potent in terms of immune. But I tried those, and I really don't see anything any different than I do right now. I don't see any miracle, nothing. So I'm quite happy. I don't load people up with, in other words, the protocols I have are specific and for specific reasons. I don't start adding unless I have a reason to add, or you can afford it. I just don't do that, because I want to get focused in on what we need to get focused. If you want to enhance some immune cells, if you look at blood work long enough, you'll find that as a rule, that's not really much of a problem. And once you get into the bone marrow and the thymus and you get into the spleen, you start cleaning out the body, the immune cells come right up, everything is good. So I really never see a problem with that. You got to realize that most people are dealing with lymphatic stagnation, not immune problems. Just because medical doctors call it an autoimmune disease, anything that deals with inflammation basically, is because they don't understand the lymph system. If you don't understand the lymph system and call it an autoimmune problem, I don't know what to tell you. This is the 21st century. You're just finding lymph systems out now. So they're a ways behind. They got to catch up. So let's all get caught up and work on the same page. That's what I'm thinking. I want to thank you guys for taking all your time and viewing these videos. I know there are a lot of videos out here. I want to do more spiritual videos, and like the lady was saying, I'd like to get more of our clients to do them. But if you want to do one on your progress, I'll shoe it in with ours, because I have no way of doing anything like this. And I'm separate now. Marcy and Jin B and Attila, they're seeing people way down the other room. So I'm going to let them know that talk to their cases, and if they want to go on video, that's fun. I really wanted to show you this one case. If we had her, if we would have taped this, they didn't tape her. I don't know why they didn't tape her for me. If they would have taped this, you guys would have, can't believe that. It's amazing to see someone that's locked up like this, open up like a flower, couldn't speak, now singing. It's real cool to see that. When you see it all the time, you know what it takes to get well. That's all I'm saying. Your lifestyle outside of detoxing and rebuilding yourself is yours. You figure out what you want to be. I don't profess to say anything. I think, what's his name's 80-10-10? Sounds good to me. If it's 80% fruit, 10% vegetables, 10% whatever you want, protein or something, okay. But if you want to be real well and you want to fix things, you have to detox yourself. You can't just shift into a vegan diet or something and think that's going to last you, because this lady found out, and it's just what I see too. Just what I see and what people are experiencing. That's why, and we'll see it here a lot in helping people. I have through the years too. You know, people that can't go on fruit, they go on the vegetable diet, and then they plateau. They plateau and they're just not getting any better. The tumors aren't reducing anymore. Things are getting better. I've seen this, guys, through. You just got to realize how much I've seen in 40-some years. Especially when we're turning over so many clients. You know, our clients are healthy between 4 months and a year. For the most part, we have advanced cases. Hildy and stuff, they're working on themselves. These are advanced cases. Extreme cases that are now getting their lives back. And it just takes a while to come from a rock to being limber and everything is good. Takes a little while to do that. I don't know what to say about it. There's no fast way of going it. These guys are going as fast as they can. They don't like to be in these positions either. So, you know, there's a lot of levels we can probably discover yet. You know, there's so much to this that, you know, I've only been one guy. Now, we're all of us. This is the fun part of it. When you become a fractional thinker, though, you start picking up bad habits. And that's where you get all this misinformation. Fractional thinkers is someone who takes calcium outside of a plant, in a plant, potentizes it and gives it back to you, thinking it's better for you than consuming the plant with it in it. That's not true. Fractional thinking, fractional chemistry is not more powerful than holistic chemistry. Never has and never will be. You miss so many things. I can't even begin to tell. It's obvious things. synergistic actions, buffers. You miss the whole action of the whole ingestion of foods. When you isolate or fractionize, you reduce. You reduce the energy, you reduce the camaraderie of the group, the power of the one. You miss all these things. And that's your way out of here spiritually. Get out of your mind. The mind is creation. If you want to know what God is, you can't use your mind because you can't get there from here. Or here from there. The mind is on journeys of past, present, and future. Unless you're getting into the pure mind. Okay, I just wanted to say I've been following you for years. Oh my God. And love. Oh, thank you. What you do, I wish everyone, including traditional Western medicine, could open their eyes and actually not force people to have health insurance because of other poor dietary habits, don't you? I know it. I tell you, the whole thing is so messed up, and it's so into the economics that the average young people out there have no extra money for anything. Some of them can't even afford to friggin' pay your house payment as much as your car payment, as much as your insurance payment. I mean, there's so many people that are out of touch. These elitist thinkers, these politicians are so out of touch. They just don't get it. You know, these people need to spend some time in poverty for a while to turn around their thinking. Because our insurance payments are the same thing. I'm 65 years old and I'm paying $300 and something a month. And that's Medicare and a supplement. That's insanity. I'll never use it. I'll never use it for any reason unless, you know, I have to have a kidney stone procured. And I'm breaking them down. Anyway, I'm writing you about some issues that have plagued me for about years. I have a number of amalgam fillings, and I want them out, but can't afford to, nor do I want any more foreign chemicals in my mouth. I know it. I don't have an easy answer for that one, but I can tell you this. I'm for removal of the amalgams. The last one I had out of my mouth, I told you, I felt a difference. So I really think the idea that you need to go to a holistic dentist to have this done, unaffordable. There are safety factors in all dentistry in removing amalgams, although not, I guess all dentists don't follow that. But you're going to detox all this out of you anyway. But I would have my amalgams taken out, my own personal thinking. I've had my amalgams for 10 to 14 years or so, and I've lost track at the point. And these are all acid metals, so when you see your teeth deteriorating, don't blame fruits. Like Marcy said, they only expose what's there. I have a number of questions and concerns regarding them. After I had my first 1 or 2 fillings in, I lost my hair almost immediately. Oh. Well, you know, these are acid metals and they love the brain. What can I say? Aluminum's the same way. They love the brain, and until you start detoxing this out. But I'll say this, don't sometimes get caught up like medical doctors and think that, because we have one case here, and her breast is nothing but tumors. And I mean, there's no breast left, and it's just tumor sticking here now. It just looks like hamburger. I've had her for a couple of years, and she's one of the few that's had an advanced breast like that I've saved. And she just got a CAT scan. Oh my God, she should be thanking the stars above. It's right there. It's not in her lungs. It's nowhere. It's right there. And it's just amazing. But she also has had a root canal. And of course she reads everything. And she sends all this crap to us. The root canal is causing the breast cancer. Oh my God. So I tried to explain to her that, no, your root canal did not cause the breast cancer, but the same system that created a need for a root canal created the breast cancer. You got to get with that. Medical doctors are going to turn around and say, your root canal caused your breast cancer. Excuse me? But the same pathway of lymph is, absolutely. And you can see it on the right side. You can see it on the side. So it's just enough to understand that you can't always work from the ass end of the donkey. You have to understand that when your lymph system's down, you can see 3 or 4 problems all in different locations in the body. You can have a tumor in the brain, teeth falling apart, a tumor in your groin, and a toe that's turning. I mean that's just it's systemic. So you have to realize that. But, and this could be in your case, the reason you needed the amalgams is that, or your teeth worked on, not the amalgams, is the same reason your hair loss. Now that could be, and the best way to tell is get a picture of your eyes and take a look. See how your lymph system is up here. A lot of people say, not so good. So, and this was at 21 years old. So but I have to tell you, I'm definitely not pro-mercury and any stretch of the imagination. And I think it's quite a stretch that if you want a vaccine, you have to ask for a thimerosal free. If not, they're going to give you the one with the goodies in it. Like, what? I mean, this is the level of thinking. These people are so non-spiritual. They're part of the problem, not ever part of the solution here. I mean, the FDA is just a puppet. If I was the FDA, I would be insulted. But the FDA, they're just a puppet for the pharmaceutical companies. The FDA, they're totally manipulated by the pharmaceutical companies. This is fascism. And that's just what they've been talking about on TV last night, and with the talk of the Democrats and stuff. I'm not pro-Democrat or Republican or either one. I'm not either one of them. I don't look in fractional thinking. That's too bad. 21, it was devastating. And now in my mid-30s, it's still no better. Upper circuit, brain and nerve, work on your neurolymphatics, get your head detoxed, honey. Get your kidneys and your adrenals on board, get everything start to filter, clean up your bowels, your hair will come back, you're way too young to be hairless. You get to working on this because it's hair removal, Alzheimer's, dementia. Balding, Alzheimer's, dementia. All these things are connected to the same stuff. You can blame it on amyloid plaque, mucoid plaque, blame it on acidosis. It's all true. This is basically an acidosis problem. All of it is. Your blood is not causing the problem. It's always base. Of course, when you throw acids in it now your blood's doing some funny things to try to keep itself. So I feel for you, honey, but you can fix this, and you want to do this early because this is more than just hair loss. You're getting acidosis in the brain, and of course nothing ever fun comes with acids on the brain. Tumors like this poor 7-year-old, MACD, wet or dry, who gives a hoot, glaucoma, lymph pressures, everything you can imagine comes out of this. Memory loss. That carry your vertigos and all this stuff. It's all bad. I know, or at least I believe, the fillings are affecting my thyroid, which is why I lost my hair. Again, I want to say that you could be having thyroid problems from the same system that's giving you the teeth problems that's giving you the hair loss. Because it's that lymph system, when it's down, you're affected everywhere. Everywhere. You start popping nodules in the thyroid. That's the first time you know that your thyroid's backing up, is you getting nodules in it. But those nodules grow in your lungs and everywhere else, and that's just lymph going nowhere in a hurry. They're hanging around on you. Not good with that. I am right in thinking they are, in fact, affecting the thyroid. I'm going to probably say the opposite, but, mercury is an inflammatory metal, so it could create inflammation in the thyroid too. So, but I want you to get to thinking about the system down. Instead of fractionalizing that way, understand you have a whole system down and everything is up for grabs. Everything. Bowels, livers, pancreases. We just don't feel them as much as we have this, because this is literally in our face. I also have gray hair and spots. With what hair do I have left? Oh no, you got to get an upper circulation, brain and nerve. That goes without saying, as far as I'm concerned. Now, fix your lymph system, because you got to do this, because you got to get the mercury out, right? So you got to detox. Detox is how you get rid of unwanted foreign chemistry. That's the word we use. Shouldn't be upsetting to anybody. Detoxification. The question is, what's proper detoxification and what isn't? And of course, we also know that in proper detoxification, you get tissue regeneration. That's my favorite. And that's the one that you young guys have to think about. You young guys and gals have to think about regenerating genetic weaknesses, because you don't want to start having babies and having a lot of problems. Medical doctors do not treat babies with anything but the way they treat. And they don't come out so good. A lot of babies being hurt right now, so you don't want to put your baby through that. No way. These people are cold. They don't understand any of this. And you don't want to be that way. These are your little babies. And we need to fix them up, get them healthy, and so when they get older and have babies, their babies don't have problems. So this is a big deal. And it's a big deal for each and every one of us to work together and help others. We don't have to backbite amongst ourselves. It doesn't matter if he's perfect, she's perfect, and everything like this. But we do need to keep the focus straight and narrow. When you start fractional thinking, and digestive enzymes, or I need to add this, you're starting to lose your way. And if you lose your way too much, you'll lose your way. A lot of people do that and have to come right back again, because you can't get well with fractional thinking. You have to look at the body and fix the body. Let me see. I'm questioning it's the enamel worn away, but am not positive why. My teeth are also partly see-through. Oh yeah, you're losing your enamel. Oh yeah. But what are you going to blame that on? See, you got to sometime or other stop and address your lymphatic system, honey. That's the one thing you got to do, is you got to stop and address your lymphatic system. Because that's the thing breaking you down, taking your calcium out. Now, what's another thing you might want to think about here? I'm thinking parathyroid gland. You might want to take a look at that, because if you're having a little hypothyroidism, you're losing your hair, we could maybe suspect what? Pituitary or parathyroid gland. So you would be losing but not putting back. So you want to get yourself cleaned up and start putting back calcium in those teeth and start building everything back up. But you can't build back up in an acid environment. So mercury and everything else, not just mercury, but all cell waste from all the cells of the gums, of the jaw, of the brain, all of this stuff. These are all cells. Even your eyes produce waste. Everything produces waste. You got to clean all that out of you. It's a big deal. But when you do, regeneration is the case. And you'll be a happy, happy one. Ooh, read on. I also have dealt with brain fog and memory issues. See what I'm saying? This is a lymph system gone down, sweetheart. And cut your mercury out too, but I'd have my amalgams taken out irregardless. Similar to, as I think you mentioned, ALS and Lou Gehrig's. Exactly. This is the scary thing. Acidosis in the head. It's just not our friend. And the location. So we want to get this out of you, that's for sure. I've been vegan for almost 6 years. I am mostly raw with some cooked food here and there. But, vegan is a good program with some cooked food here and there. It's a good program to have when you're outside of detoxification. When you're inside the world of detox, fruits, berries, and melons will suit you better with an occasional salad. It'll suit you better. You'll get deeper and everything else. If you guys are having problems like we were reading with Brian and stuff, you got to fix them. You got to go along and use an expert or someone that's been in this field for a while that knows how to work you through these mazes of problems. That's the education of it all. And the good thing is, once we all get educated how to do this, there's nobody can touch you with your awareness. Because no one knows anything what you guys are learning. So you guys are really out there and shining bright with your love and your ability to heal others. It's a big deal, I think. I've noticed the cooked food leaves me feeling not that great or satisfied and find myself craving the sugar from fruit. Yeah, I mean, cooked food has no energy in it. I mean, you've taken your angstroms or your magnetics down from anywhere from, say, 9 to 12 to 1,000 or so. I mean, think about this. This is like a lightning bolt striking you. That's raw food. Or, what can I give you an analogy of it? Sitting in a dark room with all the lights off and there's no energy whatsoever. It's just night and day. You know, you agglomerate, you change your chemistry, you break apart that which is bonded naturally, you rebond your proteins and lipids, you destroy your water solubles, you destroy the electromagnetic energy because that's all tied to the chemistry to it. So now what do you got? Basically dead fiber, some electricity still left, maybe a little bit depending. It's not health promoting. You might consider it a balancing food for too much energy, and it would be a better balancing food than dead animal meat and stuff like that. So from that viewpoint, it's a good balancing and not toxic as much and that sort of thing. But in terms of life promoting and everything, I don't see how anybody could claim that. Yeah, I do realize there is lymph in the head and around the brain. But I've read conflicting into that teeth issues come from meat eating, which I don't do anymore. Well, no, just realize that when you consume proteins, you're going to lose calcium. If you just look at it that way, you can understand why. Because calcium is the main electrolyte of the human body. It is once said the body is composed of 90-some% calcium. I don't know. But it is largely calcium. Connective tissue plays a role. Obviously skeletal, nerve transmission. You can go on and on and on, I'm sure. But whenever you consume proteins, they're devoid of calcium a lot. They're higher in phosphorus and nitrogen, which is your little brother in chemistry to calcium. Calcium's your base. Calcium, magnesium, your twin sisters. Just like sodium, potassium, twins, base chemistry. Even on the periodic table, they're base chemistry. How do they become cations then, biochemistry? Tell me how a base chemistry on the periodic table becomes a cation. We're going to discuss that in class. But any type of high acid food is leaching to calcium, to be honest with you. Not just your meats, but any protein like that. Your grains can also, and your beans can also be very much of a calcium leacher. Not as much as dead animal tissue, because we're looking at eating more amino acids than tissue. Not a lot of goodies in there, you know. Muscle stuff and a lot of fiber, and so your body is going to leach your electrolytes, and calcium being the main one is leached the most. I don't know anymore, but more so from the lack of greens in the diet. But, and please tell me if I'm off here, it would make some sense to just do fruit and less greens to detox the head. This is very much the point. Matter of fact, you're really right on here, because that's the thing. I can't get your head detoxed, because of all parts of your body that's problematic the most is going to be the wawa. You don't want to lose up here. So you're right. Getting up in here, this is a deeper level to me, and I'm fruits, berries, and melons. Fruit, vegetables will detox you pretty much up to the chest level and things, but not too deep and not too far up. So you hit a good point there. I really like that, and you're right on with that too. Nutrient from the greens to rebuild and regrow the teeth. Well, if you were going to regrow teeth, you would want to, get all these acids out first. You don't want to try to grow new tissue on bad tissue. That doesn't work well. So you want to get yourself detoxed. Then where are you going? You want to make sure your parathyroid is kicking? Then you could do some greens. You could do some greens if you want to pack the higher calcium So which greens would you want to power pack? How about kelp for one? Do you want to power pack a high calcium with the iodine with it, which both of those would be essential to the thyroid parathyroid matrix? Then you'd want seaweed, a lot of seaweed. So kelp would be my top choice. Alfalfa would be my second choice. You don't need to have more calcium than the body can deal with, because if you do, and this is another problem, for those of you that are highly acidic taking calcium, you feel a little arthritis coming on you? Be very careful. Rocks are a lot harder to detox out of the body and break apart than lipids. It would make more sense to do a fruit and less greens, definitely on the head sort of thing. I don't have the money for the herbs to hit as hard as I want, but absolutely plan to in the future. Well, don't have to spend that much stuff. If you don't have a lot, hit the teas. Like a heal-all tea, the 3-lung tea. Hit the teas like that, but hit the basics. Your kidneys are basic, an endocrine gland's a basic, a lymph is a basic, a GI tract's a basic. Those are basics. But I would also want to do upper circ. At least upper circulation. Brain and nerve would be good too. But upper circ, at least hit that one for hair and getting more goodies up into the brain area. So along with my other questions, which would be more effective in getting the head draining, fruit, berries, and melons only. Definitely want to take a look at the parathyroid gland, make sure that's up and running, or you're just going to you're going to expose a nightmare of what you don't want. When you see your teeth and your gums, that isn't done by fruit, it's done by acids, and it takes years for that to take place. You're just, as Marcy said, you have to understand that when you start detoxifying, you're taking the skin back and looking what's underneath there. Sometimes it wasn't what the skin was showing. Sometimes you can look at a person, they look pretty good. But look at the list of problems they have. You know, I have people come in here all the time and say, you look pretty good. And then I start reading what their problems are. I say, oh, guess underneath ain't so good. Some things hide in weight, guys. You don't want to be one of those that wait until the ugly thing pops its head out. Now you're in trouble. You want to fix now. Make it exciting. This is fun. You feel good. You feel light. There's nothing like it. People bitch and bitch and bitch. It's like you don't have anything better to do than bitch. You have fun. You're on this rock. And you've got all this elitist and all the fascism. You got all this stuff going on. You have the violence in the movies everywhere. I mean, we make violent movies and wonder why people are getting violent on us. When you go to the movies, everything is half violent. I mean, and the video games are almost as if you're there. And they wonder why we have problems. Man has lost the Homo sapien race. I know why some of these people are staying back a little bit here. All right. Also, I also been trying frequency healing to help the thyroid, and I feel it seems to be working. But excuse me. But I think the only way I will get my hair back and have the thyroid functioning as it should when the thyroid is functioning as it should be. You know what? Detox and get everybody turned back on again. That's what I'm saying to you. You got it half right here. Get in there and get everything turned on and moving and hydrated. And you can only do that with hydrating food. Hydrating food is going to be raw fruits, berries, melons, and vegetables. We're just going to pull the vegetables aside, feed them to your horse for a while you're detoxifying, then you can grab them back. It may be I'm vain, but I hate... No, that's not vain. That's not being vain. Hey, that's being seriously smart, because no hair is not a sign of anything cool. Well, I think I've got one more, time for one more, and I got a bunch to talk about. God, guys, somebody sent me this. Was it just a, I don't know. This is Sophie Williams. Cute, though. I don't know. Because I've got to go over a couple of cases here, and there's one lady I've got to call here, fighting for her life. You know, this is why I'm saying, guys, you know, when you work on these cases, holy crap, you know, these petty little things that people bring up is just ridiculous to me. When you got so much serious stuff going on here, it's not even funny. It gets me. But, you know, that's just the nature of the Homo sapien here, I guess. This is from Diana. I just watched your videos and wondered if you could tell me if... Oh, I just read that one. Oh, good. Well, that means we'll take one more. Hello, good morning, Robert. Good morning to you at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. But that's good, Lisa. I would like to personally thank you for the movement you are creating through your videos. Oh, thank you, sweetheart. I hope you're part of that, because I'll tell you, doesn't it feel good to help others and get other people turned around and having fun in life? Yeah, there's just too much negativity and stuff, you know. We need to get that stuff away from us. Start showing the world they don't have to be that way. We don't have to have the negative forces influence us like that. You get out of your mind and your desires and hold back. That's how they get you. Your desires and your thinking. Well, if you've learned how to step back and be consciously aware, and you don't care, they can't touch you. No one can. No entity, nothing can touch you. And for some, you might want to learn that, because some of you are breeding entities. And when you have an entity you think is attached to you, we're getting some reports, some people that have these. You be strong. No one can hurt you if you don't allow them. You just have to realize how big you are, each and every one of you, and how powerful you are. You don't know that when you're lost chasing rainbows of thought and desires. But when you become into the full awareness of who you are, you become very powerful then. So, you're your own best protection. You got a lot of spiritual beings that will help and protect you, but you're your own best spiritual protection. But it takes strength. I would like to, let me see here. Oh, thanks. I'll thank that, sweetheart. I hope you're helping us too. Thank you for reminding us everything that I already in us that we have forgot through this life. Thank you, sweetheart. That's nice of you, honey. I wanted to ask you which of your herbs you would recommend for HSV-Simplex Type 2. I am glad to say I have been on all fruit, melons, and berry diet for a week now. So far, I'm feeling great. In your vid, you mentioned to attack the lymph system, but is there a specific kit you recommend specifically for detoxing out of the body? You know, all viral loads go right out with the wash. And they're the lymph system. These are proteins, so right out the wash. Matter of fact, you'll notice that virals take hold in a highly acidic medium when you're weakening the cells. So all these type of viral loads can be moved out of you. And I don't care what viral load, even the HIV can be cleaned right out of the human body. Hep C, all of these. And it's just you have to detox them out of the body. Detox is detox. I'll say, if you look at the kits, because you don't need to be on a parasitic formula. These virals are really not single-celled organisms. They're proteins. So these are detoxable entities big time out of the body. You know, they have antiviral drugs and antiviral herbs, but really the antiviral drugs are highly suppressants. And I don't know how the antiviral herbs work, to be honest with you, because if you understand the virus, your thinking has changed a little bit. But it's enough to say that everybody's learning and growing in life here. And we're all just, But viral loads are easy to detox out of you, unless you have a real thick lymph system. And sometimes those people that have high viral loads have real thick lymph systems. I've seen this with HIV a lot. And of course, of your herpes and, these. So no matter how thick your lymph system is, you can always win the game. You guys have the power, each and every one of you, to win this. This is just a physical body. I want you to remember that. I want you to remember another thing. When you feel, when you have emotions and you're feeling, that's not your physical body. That's your astral or emotional body. That's a whole other body you have that most people are unaware of. That's the first body you move into when you leave your physical body. There's a lot written on the astral body. And if you want to get to understand that, look up the Monroe Institute. They'll help you to understand that body. But that's emotions, and that comes from it. It's not a physical experience. Your physical body doesn't feel emotions. You have nerve impulses, things like that, but that's not emotions. That's the astral world. Thoughts? are not emotional either. Thoughts are a totally separate body that you have, and you have 3 mental bodies. So it's just out there, and you can study these things and stuff like that. But just remember, your physical body is a very chemical shell. And you have to treat it so. You have to respect chemistry, understand chemistry, deals with duality. And this duality is tied together with ionization, oxidation, magnetism. It goes on and on in biochemistry. And important to understand that. It is not needed. Because there's so much more to experience and travel and understand about creation and how big it is. Look at the picture of the galaxies. Does that give you some inkling? And that's fractional. You know, in NASA we're using fractional seconds. I mean, we're talking fractional stuff. It's you can't even conceive it mentally. Consciousness can, and that's the only way you can conceive this whole thing. Is to stop thinking, pull yourself back. Take a break. Whew. I'm tired of thinking for a while. I need a break. Let me just hang out and be for a while. And I don't need anything. I've got everything I need. I'm happy with just what I got. You get there, and you'll be here. Love you guys. See you on the next video. Take care of yourselves, and I love you a lot.